All right, so we got some super exciting news because we got some super depressing news. And the super depressing news was that, Missing Link got canceled, which is, not that big of a deal. Now that we know that KH4 is actually being worked on. So now that we know that KH4 is actually being worked on, we can actually look at what they're working on, which looks, for the, most part, even though it seems to be just like, what, one major scene, two things that are probably connected, and then gameplay. So I'm assuming this scene right here, right? It's like a sequence of events in a way. There's a huge connection going on between this phone and our side and the other side. Our side is obviously with Skylight Island with Mickey. That would be dope. It'd be makes the most sense of where Mickey would be because that's where he was sent to go from, Mr. Yensid and Mr. Disney. And Strelitzia is clearly from Quadratum, which is the other side, which is, Noctis's side. Or the versus 13 Noctis's side. Yeah, so I saw a theory that stated that these dial phones are a way of connecting with the dead. So if that's true, like the dial phone is a way of connecting with the dead, technically Sora is dead in his original universe or his original dimension. I don't know. How do we? I feel like I drew this up, right, in brackets. I feel like how like this Kingdom Hearts universe, I was about to call it the Sora universe. Kingdom Hearts universe, I feel like, isn't like a tier list, which say we're main tier, right? We're top. We're the gamer. We are the perceiver and everything. And under us is Kingdom Hearts, like where we game. And under Kingdom Hearts is going to be Quadratum. So it's like the other side, which is like, to them, if we were to flip it, they would be the perceiver. They are the gamer. They are in their own self. Us, So that's why I feel like when Yuzora stated in the secret ending, he's just like, this isn't what I originally looked like, because it's like, I feel like Noctis is like playing a game, or Noctis is in a kind of state of like dreaming where he's not himself, he's being someone else. But I feel like it has a deeper connection like that, where it's like Nomura has created this fantasy world where everything can exist. Hence why the Final Fantasy characters exist in that time, but Disney also exists at the same time as well, and it can commingle perfectly because it's like it's a universe where everything can get poured into. So if that is true, then Quadratum would have to be from like our kind of field. Hence why Shibuya is an actual place, and it's not has to do with another video game's place, because he stated that the world that never was isn't the same Shibuya as Quadratum Shibuya. So I think Quadratum's Shibuya is not necessarily ours, but I think Versus 13 is a version of our world that doesn't exist because it's a game that never happened. So it's like Noctis is in Final Fantasy, so it's alive. It's a real thing. It's something that exists. So it exists inside of the commingling universe of Final Fantasy characters and Disney characters. So he's in that pot, right? So you couldn't have Noctis interact with Sora in this other side, because that other side is us. Because we technically don't exist inside of Sora's universe. We are a player. We are a perceiver of these games and of these universes. So it just doesn't add up for anything to exist outside of like it's so like confusing, but not confusing, because it's like in the game it's not real, right? But to us, that's just how it is because it's a game. But if you like, I feel like this is how Nomura is thinking, and this is how he's putting things into play. So back to the point of the pictures, right? So Strelitzia is on one side, which is the other side. Mickey is on Skylight Kylem's side, which is the kind of brink between the worlds. So if Mickey can easily, that's another thing. How can we just easily, transport to Scala now. Like it's just like an open world. It's just like took us forever to get there. But like Mickey's just like, "Oh, by the way, I can just come here." Like, okay. Well, whatever. So yeah, so like I saw another theory where Mickey is trying to traverse through this maze like Scala, and I think no, so the theory is that there's the phone's ringing and Mickey's trying to get to this phone. He just hears a ring and it's like maybe it's Strelitzia calling for help, or if it's Sora calling from the other side, he picked up a phone himself. But in my perception, I think Mickey is looking for some kind of answer throughout this maze, and the maze is hiding something important, which could be this phone, right? So nobody was supposed to go to Scala. Scala's supposed to be in its own an exiled kingdom, right? Nobody's supposed to be there. Maybe if I draw it up, right? I don't have a book over here, but we're gonna use a napkin. Greatest ideas always happen on a napkin, and it's gonna be a fucking Taco Bell napkin now. So there is the universe, which is Kingdom Hearts. Okay. We've got Kingdom Hearts in this big old circle. K H. Right. So we've got Kingdom Hearts. Boom. Kingdom Hearts is everything exists inside of Kingdom Hearts. So you've got Final Fantasy, you've got Disney, you've got Pixar. So you've got all of these realms, right? You got Monsters Inc., you got Toy Story, you got Pinocchio, you've got Tron, you've got Final Fantasy. Like you've got all of these worlds that can commingle in here. So in this universe, so in this space where you can travel in gummy ships, you can travel to worlds that exist inside this universe. But then once you break that boundary, right? And you exit it, you enter this other side that can view inward almost. So then outside of here is a whole different world. That is where Quadratum is. So we'll put a Q for Quadratum. Okay? And most likely in this other bracket of existence, say, is other kinds of worlds. So you have more realistic kind of worlds. But it doesn't make sense because you have Disney worlds like pirates, you know what I mean, and Tron. Like those are real people that exist. So, but like in the Disney universe. So I guess since Marvel and Star Wars, like Lucasfilms, weren't owned by Disney at a certain time, they were bought. It's like they didn't exist within Disney yet. So they are technically their own thing. So they can exist in this bracket of worlds that doesn't have to interact with each other. So let's say Marvel, right? And then Star Wars also exists inside this bracket. And that telephone is what could connect Quadratum with the Kingdom Hearts universe. And there's clearly going to be other holes or other necessary ways of connection through these other worlds to connect inward as well. Okay? So, if this is true, what other worlds could exist here without breaking or contradicting my theory? Like, you can't have any Disney worlds existing in this. So that's my theory between there. So Mickey is traversing through Skylight Asylum trying to look for something that's locked away inside of Scala in this kind of maze-like area. And this phone connects to other phones, in the other side. And one is owned by Strelitzia, or maybe not. Maybe one is where we have to go look for while we're there. But it looks like his apartment. So it could definitely be his inside of his apartment, and it might ring. He might get a call. So Mickey's gonna definitely call him. He's not gonna call them, right? Otherwise, I'd be calling every day. I'd be like, yo, guys, fucking help me, So Mickey's definitely gonna find a phone with inside Scala to call him. But what I'm also very confused about, right? What the fuck is going on? Why do we have this? I don't want this. Yeah, thank you. Is that? What is this? What is this right here? Is that a save point? It's very confusing. I don't know what this is. It looks like something to interact with because it's such a different color and it's glowing. And it says attack, so Mickey's clearly dealing with some shit. And there's something glowing over here in a different glow. Like this and this are the same kind of glow. But yeah, so that's what I think is going on with that. Then we have the next sequence of events, which is down here, which is the new dark side, getting fucking missiled on, then absolutely obliterated into astral dust, and Sora is clearly watching it happen. Now, this could be a bunch of different things, right? I've seen theories where this is Sora and Riku's freaking, pride blade fucking thing, and it's just double teaming this thing. But at the same time, it's also some kind of magic where it's being used on it. So this is a magic. So somebody comes in and blows it up as well. And it could be Strelitzia. It could be Strelitzia using magic. This could be up from up top of the building, and it could be the Master of Masters helping as well, getting rid of this fucking thing. Who knows, right? Because Master of Masters is going to be into playing into this. Because Sora does not know the Master of Masters yet. They have not interacted. Nobody knows who Master of Masters is, and he could be trying to play with Sora's heartstrings and try and take advantage of Sora's better judgment and use him, right? So he saves him. Sora thinks he's good. That wouldn't be the first good guy he's seen in a cloak. He's helped other people in cloaks. His best friend wore a cloak. It's something that's easily entertainable to think. But this right here very much could be Strelitzia using some kind of magic, and then somebody from up top is using magic as well. And this over here could be two things. The devastation of him being exploded and astral dust being projected, and that's what happens after he explodes. Either two things could be happening. Strelitzia is saying bye, or Strelitzia is saying you need to use this door as an opportunity to move on from this world, right? And Sora's sitting there stun locked like, yo, what the fuck is happening? And he needs to know to jump and run with it, and not fight his fight or flight. Be like, yo, fuck it, we gonna fight and flight. We gonna run and fight. So that's the thing. And Kingdom Hearts, they do the best job they can to nerf things. So this could just be whited out simply because they don't want us seeing what he's seeing, and which would be really cool. Because if you look at things, things could be edited out, and you don't necessarily know what the fuck is going to go on. So Sora is clearly seeing something, and I saw another theory of Noctis looking the exact same way from Versus 13. So if Versus 13 exists in this, right? So then you have to think Versus 13 also exists. So Versus 13 also exists in this, which also means it has to be able to connect inward. So It would make the most sense if within these things there will be 2 more massive worlds. So it looks like we can have Quadratum, right? We can have Quadratum versus 13. You can have Star Wars, Marvel, and then there's 2 giant worlds that we could fill that spot in. I'm not necessarily understanding what, or if it could be just original world as well. We don't know. But inside of Kingdom Hearts, there could be, worlds that we interact with as well. So we don't know what we can get from Cage 4. So with that being said, Sora has to be looking at something where he is very, very stunned. And he's almost anxious, nervous, in a way where he does not want to move forward. Otherwise, Sora runs into fucking trouble. That's what he does. But he's not standing there and he's looking at it. He's waiting for it to unfold and see what's going to happen before he makes a decision, which is crazy for Sora. But with this 2 things here, I truly do. I do think Master of Masters or somebody on top of this building is helping with destroying and getting rid of this thing. All right. That would make the most sense. And then Strelitzia could get caught into it, being like, don't trust this guy, or, something could be going on. But this is the current events that's going on here. So this is clearly showing us that this is a connecting, and this is a change, right? This is something that's going to be changing. And it's almost like a parallel to things, right? She's welcoming. He's almost saying goodbye, like moving on. It's a change. So yeah, but back before I leave this though, this door, the door that they could be creating, or whatever happens at this point, where clearly we're going to get into this moment, and at that moment, we're going to say, this is how we move to the next world inside of this existing plane. This is the way we travel. And it's probably going to be the same way he does in every game, where he fucking spits his Keyblade and he fucking opens up a door, but usually he'd have to travel through space. But now we're going to see what he travels through instead. We don't know. We don't know how he's going to travel. But it's there up in the air. So now we have this. And within this, let's just get over the big fucking thing in our face, is Sora riding fucking chains, right? And what do you see in the air are links to a chain. And it looks like there's a bunch of them. So, and it looks just like the scene when Sora used the Keyblade wielders from Union Cross to destroy the giant Dark Tower, and or Dark Ball, right? It was a Dark Ball, not a Dark Tower. And ride them into that fucking dark tornado. So, with that being said, this could be missing links that has to literally relate to missing link. So maybe during those times, we understand we were supposed to learn something, right? Because like Nomura stated, we're supposed to find more lore and origin about the Heartless within missing link. I'm not going to do that now, which is going to get really confusing when I start talking about the Heartless. So we're going to think about this in a way where it's like, this is what build is, clearly, right? So building chains with the links that you collect. So maybe within the game, which would be cool because I loved looking for the Dalmatians, is instead of finding Dalmatians, we find missing links, right? How fucking cool would that be? And the more links that you collect, the more you can build, helping you access different parts of the game's worlds. So that'll let you come back later to the world to find more treasure or to find more equipment or find more abilities to then use later on in the game. That is something that I want them to bring back because that was a great fucking part of Kingdom Hearts instead of finding ingredients. So I'm hoping the ingredients thing is cooked, literally done, cooked to the absolute max. No more ingredients. Instead, we are finding missing links and something that's more related towards Kingdom Hearts. And we'll be able to find, like I said, more links to create more builds. And more builds will help you gain more access and traverse probably through the worlds. So if in the worlds you have to use things like whips, to whip yourself somewhere and pull yourself into it, you're using build to do that. Maybe you're using the chains to create some kind of surfboard. Maybe Hawaii, right? So like, no, well, that's inside of Disney World. So Lilo Stitch is technically inside of Kingdom Hearts and not Quadratum, but you don't know. We don't know if we're going to just stick inside of this existent plane. We could dive back into the Kingdom Hearts universe as well. We're not really too sure. We don't know where we're going to be. I can't see us existing simply in one side throughout the entirety of KH4, right? So if we do end up going back into the Kingdom Hearts universe, maybe you can't even use these abilities inside of its own universe. Maybe these abilities are only granted to you inside of this new plane. But we'll see. So, what I just wanted to bring up quick is this. Stop, dude. Is how fucking cute is this shit, bro? Right? So, you have this cute little attack menu that has the skyline of fucking Shibuya. You have the 104 building right there. And you have the little grass and the fucking trees. It's so fucking cool. And on the fucking layout are little roads, dude. You see the little white lines? They're like little roads. That's fucking adorable. And this is where build is, because Sora's now in Fortnite. So expect Sora to bust out 90s and double pump you in the face by the end of the game. But now that we're zoomed in, let's look at these fucking Heartless that are more humanoid now, right? So the Heartless are more humanoid, and I'm learning that I figured that we were going to learn more about the Heartless inside of Missing Link. Not anymore. So we're going to have to find out eventually what they're like through some other way in form of information giving. So they're probably, hopefully, going to take the cutscenes from Missing Link and make it into some like backstory cover movie that's just a short film attached to KH4, right? They're going to say, hey, before you play the game, make sure you watch this movie before you start the game. And it's a good little introduction, shows you the whole type of universe of Missing Link, and gives us information for the game. And within that lore, you're going to find out more about the origin of the Heartless and the strength of them. So, like when Sora, for instance, was strong at heart, he became a Heartless and still kept his state of mind in his heart, and he could still be himself. Hence why we were in control of the Heartless in KH1. But now, what if he stayed like that, right? Now, what if he stayed in a Heartless form and didn't have Kairi there to truly open his heart to becoming back to his original form? What if the longer you become a Heartless, the more you become like your original form, depending on your strength of heart? So, for instance, we've been watching Sora in his anti-form and in his rage form become less of a Heartless-looking entity and looking more like himself and using more of his own abilities throughout the games. So, these Heartless are really just strong-hearted people who are now getting closer and closer to becoming their original forms and how they originally looked. And obviously, there's just going to be an abundance of them, so they're all going to look the same. But it's like something happened to a lot of people, and a lot of strong-hearted people. And then you have these other Heartless that are like these magical defense Heartless. They look like gauntlets. It kind of looks like Titan from fucking Final Fantasy 16. But somebody also said they could be Thanos gauntlets from Marvel. But it's like, is this a revisit? If this is a revisit, then I could understand that. Like this cutscene, this gameplay scene specifically is from the time we come back to Quadratum after already traveling to other worlds. That would be cool if this has to do with Marvel. That would be a great little fucking teaser that we wouldn't even know about. Even if they're Final Fantasy teasers, it's just kind of like, so what kind of Final Fantasy creatures exist in this plane? Because if Versus 13 exists here, then everything that's not involved with the Final Fantasy 15 would have to exist inside here, right? So, that'd be pretty fucking cool. So that's really all I have to what I've gathered from what we could see. Right? I know a lot of it is just mumbling and just trying to make accusations, but it's pretty good fucking accusations, if you ask fucking me. I know there's another scene. This because look at this, right? This is another great image of these Heartless, literally skeletal forms, exoskeletons, almost in a way that we've witnessed, right? We've witnessed them go from shadows to neo shadows, where they've grown. And now this is like almost the third level of their neo form. And now we have a red and purple guard kind of knight, right? Are they like almost knight looking? Like they have gaping holes for Heartless symbols in their chests. But they're clearly guard Heartlesses. Almost like those fucking annoying ass guard fucking Heartlesses from KH1. I'm assuming they're going to do the same thing where you have to attack them from their rear and then trying to just destroy them. This would be a great shield for Goofy. Great opportunity to give Goofy a rare shield like that. But look at this fucking thing attack, dude. This is crazy. And how they're going to dissipate is going to look so cool. And I love how they've blacked out his gauge form, so we don't really know what he's using for it and how he's using it. Which could also be in here, but we just can't see it. And I know that might be blocked out for me right now, right? Yeah, you can't see what I'm looking at. So just in case in here, there's something that they're just blocking out. Missing links, the stars. Let's talked about that. So, yeah, because everything's the same over here, right? Yeah, it's all the same. So with that being said, I'm expecting the worlds to be huge. So, like I said, inside of KH4, we're going to have this. Okay? We're going to have the outer rim, which is the Quadratum's universe, and then the inner circle, which is KH's universe. And we're most likely only going to have, 6. I can't see anything more than 6. 6 really big worlds in which we're going to use a crazy traversal system to get around them and interact with. But we could also be granted smaller Disney worlds inside the game as well, because we're clearly going to get Scala, so we're going to get an inner version of Scala. And I can't see it being an open world version of Scala because it's really only just one fucking tower. You know what I mean? It's one tower and it has like the landscape out front, but it's not too much to travel in. Definitely tons of trust options and things like that, but there's not going to be people to walk around and have AIs to interact with. Much more like we would want from a Radiant Garden, right? Like Radiant Garden, we clearly want in KH4. We clearly want KH4. So you're going to have some Kingdom Hearts worlds inside of this other than the worlds that we're going to have to visit. So say we have Versus 13's world, Quadratum, Marvel Universe, Star Wars Universe. What else could we really see? What else could we really see? Could be other fucking games, dude. Like they could really fucking branch out. They could be talking to people, dude. You never know, right? Dude, we could get a Sega. You could be getting a Sega world where we're interacting with fucking Sonic. We can get a Sega world. We can get, since he's interacted in Smash, we can literally get a Nintendo universe. So with inside of the same realm of Quadratum, we open up doors. Right? Could be Capcom. Could be other gaming companies looking to collab with Kingdom Hearts, and they could exist in this outer realm, this outer existence, this outer plane, whatever you'd want to call it. And that would be fucking ill. That would be so cool. Right? So Nintendo definitely. Well, we could definitely have a Nintendo world. Sega, dude, if they're in Smash, right? If they're in Smash, they could be in Kingdom Hearts. That's just all I'm saying. So, last but not least, the downside, right? Right? The sadness of what we're all waiting to hear from is a release date and when we'll be able to play this game. Well, get cozy, get cozy because it ain't gonna be for a very long time. If I say that because if you look, most of the time, by the time a game is getting close to being finished, you'll see, almost like facial features changing during gameplay. Like the background will be more clean. Like there's no shading done yet. Everything looks very minor. So it almost looks in a way where I'm like with Fable. So right now I'm waiting for Fable to come out, and Fable's cinematic scenes look fantastic. Everything looks beautiful, right? Kind of almost like this. Cinematic scenes look great. Like the shorter interactable cutscenes are there. Like, look at all the shading and everything's done. The lighting's done. Everything looks perfect. But then you look at gameplay, and it's hard to interact all of that with moving animations. And with that, you're creating a complete different level. It's a whole different team working on it. And I don't think if Quadratum is the entry level world, we're way out. Just look at this. You know what I mean? Like just look at it. I'm just being real here, right? Right? Yeah. No dirt, no debris. Like it's I am so sad to say this, but Kingdom Hearts 4 will not be out until 2027. Earliest. Earliest is 2027 holiday season. And I think the most appropriate time to release a game this fucking massive, right? It's going to be fucking massive. It's a huge game for PlayStation 5. 2028. 2028. 2027 or February of 2028. That's an expected window of KH4. And if you think that's ridiculous, or if you think that's just not acceptable or anything like that, think about it. Just really sit down and think about it, because they are a team that picks up on every little thing the fan base says about the games. Everything. And they take it for a ride. And they know how much we didn't like certain things in KH3, and they're going to do their best to not have those mistakes. They're not going to have them. Anything that you had a problem with in KH3, you will not have in KH4, and they're going to make damn sure of it. And now if that also means taking time to perfect a game rather than just spewing out something last minute just to give us something to play, dude, you're bugging. You're bugging. I'm surprised we even got these images. These images are alone are just a handshake and a half. And we want hugs, but we ain't getting no hugs. I'd be impressed if they gave us a release date sometime this year. I'm expecting continuous trailers with in development. Still in development. Just like Cage 3. Still in development. Still in development. Because for the PS4, right? Cage 3 came out for the PS4. Cage 3. Just 4. PS4, right? Yes, initially Kingdom Hearts 3 was released on the PlayStation 4. It was a PlayStation 4 game. So it's not supposed to... This game is not going to be even remotely close to KH3. If you thought they did amazing things in KH3 and you're a great KH3 fan like I am, yo, the shit that you're going to get for KH4, like, just be patient, enjoy the ride, and just don't hate, because it's a fucking next-gen game. So think about it. It's a next-gen game. Like, just already look at the crispiness. And it's not even out the oven. They literally just put it in the oven. I don't even think they put it in the oven. This is literally just raw material that they haven't even started cooking with yet. This is fucking not even the icing. This isn't even icing. This isn't even cake. This is batter. This is batter for a cake that needs to still be put in the pan. The oven is still preheating. GTA took how fucking long? Think about that. GTA took how long? How long has GTA 6 been in development? It has been in development since 2014. Rockstar likely began some preliminary work on GTA 6 as early as 2014. So if 2014 it came out, and it's almost been 10 years, 11 years. Dude. We're not getting Kingdom Hearts till 2030. Till 2030. If we get Kingdom Hearts in 2028, that might be too early. Just letting you know. 2028 might be too early. So, buckle in, because these worlds are going to be massive, the games are going to be sick, and it's going to be worth the wait. That's all I know. You did like it, then please fucking let me know, and I'll do more talks. We could sit down and do more talks, and answer some cool questions. That's the ideal goal, right? All right, guys, I love y'all. Peace.